let's look at automatic merging. I have my project set up. I can work on it, make my changes, commit them, and then push them to the server. But the whole point of our version control is to allow other users to also make changes. So let's simulate another user making a change. So here is my Jocelyn student account, and I have the same transaction log repository. In the repository, on the web browser version of GitHub, I can navigate right to that same file that I was changing in Eclipse. I can select the edit icon and edit this file directly. It's not a great way to change code because you can't run it from here. And you won't be able to check if you have any silly mistakes or syntax errors. The tool does commit in the same manner, where you have to put in a commit description. And you can add more details if that's necessary to explain your check-in. That change was made directly on the server in the repository, so it's in that cloud version. Meanwhile, Professor Richard doesn't have any indication in Eclipse that that change was made, and can make changes of her own still in these files. Perhaps I want to add a comment. Here, I can save and test the changes. To verify everything still works, and if I'm happy with it, then I can go ahead and stage that change and commit it. I'm going to go ahead and do that in the two-step process so that the commit will be saved to my local repository, and then I'll push it separately. Now remember, when I go to push it, Jocelyn Student has already put a change on there with that entry Jocelyn Student. So look at what happens when I try to push. It says I want to push it up to the GitHub server, and when I preview that change, it's going to say that it's rejecting that change because there's already a change on the server that I haven't pulled down to merge into my system. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that. To actually get the changes from the server, because now I'm aware that there are changes on the server, I can go ahead and do a pull. I can select my project to pull everything that has changed in the project, and then select Team, and then select Pull. Fetch will bring those changes down to show you, but they won't merge them into your code base. So go ahead and use the Pull. Pull has a feature to allow you to go ahead and do the merge when you're pulling it. I'm going to go ahead and use that option. And you can see the two commits that were made that are going to be merged, the comment commit and the Jocelyn students commit that was done directly on GitHub. Now you see it actually updated my file, and even though those lines were close together, it successfully merged the changes in the file. Now here's where we can see that the change made by Jocelyn's student broke the code, and we actually need to update that to a 5 to make it work. So even though the auto merge worked, it doesn't guarantee that the code will run. So let's go ahead and fix that and then make sure it works. Now we have working code, and I can check that in. And it's tempting to hit that commit and push because we have already merged in our changes that were on the head, but who knows, somebody else could have committed other changes in this time that we took to fix the problem. And so it's best again to just commit and then try to push again to see if it's successful. And it looks like we are able to push all our changes to the server. We have the comments that I added, the merge that was automatically created as a commit, and my correction of the entry count. All 3 of those can be pushed to the server together. The push was successful. And if I go back to Jocelyn's students account and I refresh, you can see that that comment was added and the 5 was updated, and you can see a history of the file, and it keeps track of actually all of the commits that were done on my machine. When it pushes it through, it keeps track of those differences and keeps them separated so we can make changes if we want or get back to a particular version, even just from the ones that were locally pushed.